And I feel like when people attack your personality, that's like the worst thing that someone can do, because that's purely you. That's like yourself, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like it does hurt when people say that, oh, her voice is so irritating, oh, why is she talking like this? And there's like 1,000 people, you know, doing my mimicry and all of that stuff. But I feel like you just have to develop a thick skin and just be as positive as you can be, as kind as you can be, and make sure you don't let someone feel that way, is what I feel like you can do. You can't go and control other people's lives or their opinions and all of that stuff, but you have to try to be that better person.
Absolutely.
The bigger person in
Absolutely.
the situation. Yeah.
But you know, when you started off really young. Something that I always, I'm really proud of you because of the way you handled yourself. It's not easy for a 19, 20, 21-year-old to deal with so much hate online from people you can't even answer back to. You did that from a really young age. Do you remember the first time that happened to you? And how did that affect you? Because the first time is always the most brutal one, I feel.
I don't remember the exact time, but I remember there used to be pictures of me with my parents, because that time I wasn't an actor, so you know, I'd go out with my parents and stuff. And as I said, I was very thin, I didn't look, you know, people used to say I look like a boy, I'm like a flat screen, I look like all those kind of things. So I feel like at that time it did hurt, because those are the years where you're forming your self-confidence and you know, you're learning to love yourself. And then when you feel like someone else is pulling you down, then it really just then you start doubting yourself, you start doubting the way you look and everything. But I feel like now, slowly, I'm reaching a point where I'm just focusing on accepting myself and loving myself. Like I feel like if that is sorted and that's my foundation and my base, then nothing can hurt me, because I'm at peace with myself and I love myself. I'm not saying it's happened, it's an ongoing process, and I think the realization that is more important than what anyone else says is what's important.
But has it ever happened that you have defined yourself with what people define you with? And how did you deal with that situation?
100 times. I mean, like, if I said something in an interview, then for the next interview I'd be overly cautious. I actually would probably say no to a lot of interviews after that. You know, I'd kind of get like this fear of public speaking after that. You know, if I say something wrong in an interview, then I'm just scared of public speaking. The next time I go out, I'll be overly conscious and I'll be overly careful, which is a good thing. You should be careful, but it shouldn't come in the way of what you want to say and what you are trying to actually say. And if you're not saying anything wrong in the first place. So I feel like those kind of things, it does affect you and it plays with you mentally. Even if you try not to, subconsciously somewhere it plays a part. But the only way to deal with it is, I think you have to learn to filter out the good stuff and the bad stuff. Like you have to filter out what is positive criticism, what is something you can actually work on. Like I feel like sometimes when I'm giving an interview or when I'm speaking to people, I tend to speak very fast and I don't think about what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is not actually wrong, but I could have framed it in a better way. I always feel that way. Like when I look back or I hear myself say something, I'm like, okay, I could have worded that better, because what I'm trying to say then doesn't come across. So I feel like you can filter out the good stuff and then, you know, take in what's good and then leave out what's bad.
But again, you know, when you talk about framing it in the right way, however you frame it, it's up to the people who are watching and reading. It's their perception, it's the way they kind of take it, the way they interpret it. So I want to ask you that, you know, when you talk about the kind of exposure that an actor has, especially in today's times because of social media boom, you're born in that generation, right? Like when we were 10, 12, there was nothing called social media. But when you were 10, 12, of course, there was social media and everybody. So there's a constant intrusion too. How do you deal with that? Because I remember in Fabulous Lives, Arjun comes and tells Mahit Kapoor that, you know, you have to let her be and she has to go through all this. She will get the brickbat, she'll get the love. Were you prepared for it from the beginning?
Quite honestly, like, I love social media, you know, even though there are these downsides of it with the negativity and the trolling and the hate, but I feel like social media is also it's helped so many people, you know, it's helped people get jobs, you know, there's so many social media influencers out there. It's made the world more connected. I can keep in touch with my friends. It just gets information.